In math, a literal equation is any equation that is mostly variables, where there's actually one variable that we count as like the x or the y, but then there are a lot of other letters that are involved instead of numbers. So I like to make the joke that how do I know it's a literal equation? Because there's literally no numbers in it. It's a literal equation. So we're going to look at our first literal equation here. And often what we're wanting to do is to get one variable by itself that's not already by itself. So here, the x is the letter t and the y is the letter s, but we want to get the letter t by itself. So it's just a matter of using the solving quadratic um, techniques that we've used before in order to get this t by itself. Well, what I see is it's a t squared and there's no other t's in the equation. So I feel like that we could use the square root method where we take the square root of t squared to get this by itself. But remember, isolation principle says we need to have t squared by itself before we can square root both sides. So we're going to start by getting this t squared by itself. That'll begin by subtracting s sub 0. By the way, s sub 0 in math, sometimes we call that s naught, like naught, meaning time is not, there is no time, like the old English word not. So that often means like the starting thing, the starting amount of s. All right, now how do I get rid of a 1/5? Well, dividing by 1/5 is like multiplying by its reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of 1/5? 5/1 or 5. So we're going to multiply both sides of this equation by 5. And what will happen when we do that is the 5 and the 1/5 will reduce down to 1. So that's RT squared. We'll divide both sides by r to get the t squared by itself. And so that'll give us 5 times s minus s naught over r is equal to t squared. Now, I don't like having the t squared on the right. I'm going to switch this and make it t squared is equal to 5 times s minus s naught over r, just because I think it's prettier. Now, how do I get t by itself? How do I undo a squared? I'm going to square root both sides. And what do I have to remember? When I take the square root of both sides, I've got to add a plus or a minus. So this will be 5. It'll be plus or minus the square root of 5 times s minus s naught over r, and we can go ahead and leave it like that. Sometimes they'll ask you to rationalize that denominator, but for the most part, rationalizing isn't something we're going to do. So, our first literal equation.